What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Hobby Lobby. So tonight, wanted to do a little Q&A, something of that sort, but I definitely wanted to cover something real. And I saw this video from Tom Macdonald, but the day before yesterday or yesterday, and you know, I'm pretty big on supporting Tom Macdonald, a lot of independent artists, and I find it very ironic that the music industry is so belittled that they have to go through such lengths to actually keep independent artists from competing with mainstream artists. And this is revealing. And as I know, most of y'all have already seen what's probably going on because I know the Hangover Gang. I know y'all keep up with Tom probably much more than I do. But I found this to be very, very revealing. Not only revealing, but it it shows that it's two things going on here. The first thing is the music industry has an inherent bias. They don't want alternative forms of music or artists being in a mainstream narrative because many times independent artists are not necessarily giving out the message that they want to hear. But on the other side is it that independent artists have not prepared themselves for this? I mean, one of the things about being an independent artist is you're outside of the mainstream. And one person might ask the question, well, shouldn't it be expected that the mainstream media or the mainstream organizations that promote this nonsense is not going to be welcoming, especially to conservative hip hop? So Tom Macdonald did this video, and I think that it was very well put, and I think he did a great job putting this video out. And I want to kind of listen to it and give my thoughts on exactly this process that he went through, and what does that mean for us going forward as people who support these artists, people who are involved in their music and their success, but also what does that say about the mainstream narrative when it comes to hip hop, when it comes to all forms of music? Is it legit? How can we trust that any artist is as popular as they want you to believe or deserve the success that they're getting if at the end of the day, the numbers are skewed where people aren't even given a fair shot? What's up, Joe Red? I see you. I see you. Dave, what's good? Elaine, what's up? All right, y'all. So I'm gonna play some of this. So we're gonna talk about this because I think this is it's something much deeper here. And I think my job here is to get underneath the layer because I know Tom is saying it from one perspective, but I think I want to dive a little deeper and kind of digest exactly what this means because I think it means something much more than even he is aware of.
Hi, guys. All right, I'm going to tell you a little story. And I'm going to tell you right now, it does not have a happy ending. And this story is called The Biggest Music Industry Screw Job Ever. Newsflash, there's a lot of independent artists who don't like me, but I hope you guys can see past the hate boner that you have for me and see how valuable this is and how important it is to independent artists everywhere. And you know what? It's not just independent artists. It's major label artists too. Look,
I like the fact that Tom, he could have started this video off in any kind of way, right? Tom could have just came on here screaming like, oh, they screwing me over. They doing all of this. But Tom decided to do it a very well thought out video. He wanted to first start by approaching all of the independent artists and the mainstream artists as well, putting that caveat out there that, this is something that we all should be concerned about. Whether you hate me, love me, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, anybody who's involved in this whole music industry is there for a few reasons. And one is to actually put out a message and to get their voices heard. They're very artistic and they are very good at what they do, and they want to be recognized for that. So this is not something just about me and Tom or me and Adam or whatever. This is about everybody. And I'm glad that he pointed that out from the very start because there are going to be people who watch this and already looking for something wrong.
Look what Kanye West just did. Kanye just completely bailed on the music industry and released his new album on an MP3 player. What Kanye's just now doing with his album on his MP3 player is what I've been doing with physical CDs for 4 years. Completely cutting out the music industry, being a disruptor.
See, that's the thing right there. You got to be real careful when you're not like in the mainstream. And the reason you got to be careful is because a lot of these big timers, they actually have access to these independent artists and stuff like that. And they'll see something that they're doing and they can just completely rip that concept from them and use it. And people will run around pretending like, oh, this is something new. This is something we've never seen before. And it's like, no, you stole that from somebody who just doesn't have the same name recognition or the same amount of clout as you do. And that's something that happens a lot in many different industries. We see it on YouTube as well.
Anyway, I just had to say that. I've been screw the industry before Kanye was. And we sold more physical copies of the Brave album than Kanye did of the STEM player. But whatever.
You know, it's funny. Even though he's talking specifically about something that's really important, Tom is still having fun with it. He's still allowing this to be a moment of like, you know, I'm Tom Macdonald, right? Don't forget that. Like we did something great there.
Who's counting, right? I'll tell you exactly who's counting. Not the data collection company that reports the numbers to Billboard. Okay, here we go. Despite our best efforts, unlike everybody else, the physical copies of our new album, The Brave, will not be counted towards the Billboard charts. Now, it's important that you know that this is not a problem directly with Billboard.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know much about the Billboard situation. Like as I was watching this video, I was learning as well. I think Tom Macdonald was revealing something that a lot of people just don't pay attention to or don't know the process of what people have to go through. So kudos to the fact that there's so much going on behind the scenes that we're not even aware of and that they don't get credit for. And I think this video highlights that.
Charts. Now, it's important that you know that this is not a problem directly with Billboard. Billboard's always been really cool to us, actually. But here's something y'all probably didn't know. Billboard does not collect their own data for the Billboard charts. There's a data collection company that counts all of the downloads, the streams, the views, and the data collection company takes those numbers, gives them to Billboard, and Billboard makes their charts. My issue is with the data collection company.
Here's the thing. This is why I say it's much deeper than what Tom's touching on here. Why is it that Billboard relies on one company to give them that data? If you want to verify the information that you're receiving to be accurate, wouldn't you want at least 2 or 3 companies independent of one another counting these numbers so that if you get in one number from one company and a different number from a different company, there's something's wrong there. And you have to ask yourself, okay, somebody's missing something. And we have to double check to make sure we have our numbers correct. You know what I'm saying? Tanya in the building. What's up, Tanya? I think it's important that he's sharing this out in the open. I think so as well. I really do. But why is it only one company that does the data? See, this is one of the reasons why he's running into this problem. It's a very narrow gateway to get your data counted and turned over to Billboard.
So over a period of 2 weeks, we exchanged 43 emails with this data collection company. And despite us being ready, willing, and able to give them all of the information that they wanted, they essentially just didn't believe us about our physical album sales. So we got excluded from the charts. Now, you guys aren't going to believe this. Trust me. I'll start from the beginning. I've never done a digital album before, and Adam has only done digital albums. So we compromised and decided to do both. And when I brought this idea to Nova, she realized that this would be the perfect time for us to report our physical sales to Billboard for the first time. And after a little research, we realized that if we combined our digital sales with our physical sales, it would practically guarantee us the #1 spot on the album charts on Billboard.
All right, so look, check this out. This is important. I think they had a very bright idea there, right? Nova was like, okay, we've been selling CDs for X amount of time, for 4 years. And, you know, now we're getting into the digital space. We're going to combine these two things, and we're going to actually use this as a way to bring recognition to the job that we've done. And look, the amount of sales that they have is enough recognition as it is, but they're thinking on even the next level. They're trying to bring awareness to the fact that independent artists can achieve something of this magnitude, right? And the problem here is it that we want independent artists playing the same game as the mainstream media? I'm not even going to say mainstream media, but the mainstream artists, they go by a certain platform. They go by a certain formula. Everybody in the mainstream they have all of these executives and they have all of these board of directors and all of these people who have a vested interest in making sure that their music is on the billboards. And now you have a small team, Tom, Nova, Adam, and they're trying to accomplish the same thing that these big corporations have put millions of dollars behind. So now the deck is already stacked against them. One would argue, why play the same game that these corporations are playing? Because deep down inside, I really do believe that Tom wants to be seen as competing with some of the greats. And from what I'm seeing, he's already out-competed them. But is he playing a different game? Is he playing the same game that those people are playing? Because I really do believe that Tom's main focus is the message. Tom's main focus is putting out a product that people resonate with, that touch people and change people's lives, regardless of if he's recognized for it by the corporations or the billboards. That's the game that he's really playing. But these other artists are playing a game of, I want to be recognized as the best artist, or I want to be at the top of the billboard charts. But it's not necessarily to improve lives. It's not necessarily to uplift people and to bring awareness to some of these heated conversations that we having in the country. So while I see that Tom is trying to actually prove that doing that method can still get you better results, he at the same time is putting himself in a position to where now his sales matter to these people. And I say the hell with them. The hell with them. Hell, we can create our own billboard charts. How about that? I'm down for it. Let's see. Let me get to some of y'all comments. Competition in the numbers proves more transparency and accuracy. Tom is the definition of an independent artist. Definitely. So, what I think is happening here is Tom playing that game or not? I don't think he's playing that game. And they already have decided ahead of time that they don't want Tom in the game. This is proof. If you didn't need any evidence, here it is right now.
Independently. Look, we all got really excited. We honestly couldn't believe it, but numbers don't lie. And we realized that we had an opportunity to deal a massive blow to the music industry by outperforming major label artists on a chart that was specifically designed for them. So we rescheduled our entire release around this idea. We were going to drop our digital album and our physical album at the same time, so all of the numbers would be accounted for simultaneously, and we topped the chart.
Tom, smart idea. Very smart idea. Here's the problem. Let's say that they accepted his numbers and they put him on a billboard. Do y'all really believe that at the end of the day they're gonna accept that? You really at the end of the day, are you really believing that these people, they have no morals, they have no values? To them, it's all about the dollar sign. Do you really think that even if you prove that they would give any legitimacy to it? No. They already reject your message. They reject the lifestyle that you're promoting. They reject your patriotism. They reject that flat out. So the only thing that you're really going to accomplish by getting them to put your name up there on the billboards and saying that you had the most sales is all they're really saying at the end of the day is, oh, well, good for you. Pat on the back. But they're not going to promote you. They're not going to talk about it. I'll ask you this. All of the major networks, all of the major YouTube channels that have artists on constantly talking about their music and stuff like that, have you been getting reached out by them? Have they been reaching out to you trying to make sure that you get in the airways, that you can promote your music, that you can talk about it to their audiences? Because how many guys in the hood know about Tom Macdonald? It may be plenty, but not enough. They will never accept you, Tom Macdonald. They will reject you flat out. Because if they would accept you, they would be calling your phone nonstop. All of these big music industry pundits who spent all of their time talking about Oh, when your album coming out? When's your next release date? What were you thinking when you wrote this song? They're not calling Tom Macdonald. No matter how many numbers he's put up at this moment, Tom Macdonald should be one of the most talked about artists on every music station that talks about hip hop. Every single one. But that's not the case. They've already rejected you. No matter how many numbers you do, they refuse to ever give you the attention and the recognition that you deserve. And that's going to be the case. But I get it. But we know, everybody already knows that he's better than them. Well, everybody already knows, just by numbers alone, the man is killing the game.
Independently. But little did we know what was up ahead. Step 1, Nova starts reaching out to the data collection company to get us set up as reporters so that they can account for our numbers. Now, there's this massive list of different rules and regulations that you have to abide by if you want them to count your physical sales. So we make sure we got the most up-to-date rules and regulations. We read all of them and we follow them. I mean, look at the back of your Brave CD. You see this little UPC code? It's not on any of my other albums. It's only there because it's one of their requirements. Anyway, because of the strict rules surrounding albums and merch packs and what you can bundle together and how it has to be packaged and blah, 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 blah.
It's a reason for that. They want to make sure that the barrier of entry is very, very hard to meet. They set the bar so high that they make it nearly impossible for independent artists to meet those requirements. They have all of that red tape to hinder your progress, to make you discouraged, to hold you back so you won't try what you're trying right now. What you're doing right now is revolutionary. You're trying to break a ceiling that they don't want you to break. It wasn't even designed for you to take all of that in consideration and do it, because the average person trying to do that by themselves will get overwhelmed and won't be doing that in the first place. Kudos to you for even taking the time to try to meet all those requirements.
We initially decide to not do merch packs, and we decide to save our silver and gold album covers for a different project down the line. We made all the sacrifices that we were required to make to have our physical albums accounted for on the Billboard charts, as per their own guidelines. Fine. No problem. We clarify with them that we're taking the right steps. They confirm that we are, and we move forward. All systems go. Now, this is where things entirely fall apart. To keep this video short, not 3 hours long, I'm not going to read you all 43 emails. I'll show you the pieces of the emails that are most important, and I'll do my absolute best to give you an accurate Reader's Digest of this entire scenario. Look, I'm going to give you as much context as humanly possible, and I'm going to be 100% transparent about all of this.
All right. I want to pay attention to the comment. Dude, you gotta tell the Tom what he already knows. He just thought the charts might be separate from the labels. This is what he is exposing here. Get it? I get it. What I'm trying to point to is, why is it that because Tom is who he is and promotes the message that he promotes, why is it that he has to go through this, whereas the guys who promote drugs, guns, drinking, the degradation of women, why don't they have to go through this? What does that say about the culture of hip hop? What does that say about the mindset of these people who are the barrier, who put up the barriers, who are the gatekeepers? It's more than just they're all in bed together. The labels, the corporations, the whole music industry is tainted, corrupted, and it's been that way. And Tom knows it. Yeah, I know that Tom knows it. But at the same time, it's not that just because he's an independent artist, but also, what is the mainstream? And why is the mainstream preferred by these people? What is it that the mainstream artists have that Tom doesn't have, that they prefer them over him? Because last time I checked, Tom is a pretty positive guy. Last time I checked, Tom actually takes the time to look at nuance. So what is it that he doesn't have that they have? And what is the agenda? Why is it that they can capitalize off of those guys versus him? And yeah, they tried to court Tom, but I guarantee you the same Tom Macdonald that you know today, if he would have signed a deal, would not be the same Tom Macdonald you see now. You literally have to go through hell and high water to keep your integrity.
Let's dive into these emails. And let me add, I had to constantly follow up with these people on a daily basis to get any response at all. And when they did respond, I'd get like 1 or 2 lines of text, many times just offhandedly dismissing us or completely failing to acknowledge any of our questions or concerns. To register as a reporter, they essentially want to vet your website. They want to know what kind of sales you've done in the past year and what kind of sales you expect to be reporting with this upcoming release. So we answer the question with how many albums we sold last year, how many we expect to sell this year, and we give them screenshots of everything that we've done for the past 12 months. We also ask what the reporting process is like and how sales are actually reported, because our album released in a month at that point, and we had to be diligent about getting this done in a timely fashion. They told us, and I quote, "We have plenty of time to get you set up for reporting since the release is not until next month. I'm still not done with the website vetting, but we will get back to you when that is complete. Also, please only include direct-to-consumer from the website and leave out any other sales from vendors/providers." So we send more screenshots from the back end of our website that shows the total sales from last year. We also tell them that we do not work with any vendors or providers. We do everything ourselves, completely independently. So everything is from our hands to their hands. 2 days later, they finally respond with this: "I'm not certain of the album sales you have quoted to us, as they are not meeting what we would expect based on the data we have from major providers at this time, including sales and streaming. Can you provide the name of your distributor? We distribute independently through TuneCore."
They can't even fathom what's going on. Like, it's like a computer. If you put a certain amount of information in, that's the only information you can get out of it, right? Their whole system is built around a certain process. And the moment you start to break down that process, they can't compute. It's like, cannot compute, cannot compute, cannot compute. That's where their minds is going right now. It's like they don't even understand what he's trying to explain to them, because this is something that's never really been done.
So we tell them that. We also tell them that if they're trying to authenticate physical sales through data acquired from digital platforms, they're going to get a very distorted picture of what's actually going on here. I explain that only a very small percentage of my music goes to these digital streaming platforms. The only songs that go to these digital streaming platforms are the songs that I release on YouTube with music videos. I explain that I release 2 or 3 physical albums every year. I explain that that's around 50 songs. I explain that
Tom is working his behind off. Tom is murdering the game, man. This is dry right there. 2 to 3 albums every year. Holy cow.
only a very small number of those 50 physical songs ever end up digitally available on the internet. So how could the digital data reflect my physical sales when the digital data only represents a very small portion of my physical music? I'll answer that question. It can't. And since we feel like they just called us liars, we offer them back-end access to our store so that they can verify the numbers themselves directly. We would completely remove ourselves from the situation so that they can see what we can see.
Tom is going to allow them to log in to their information, give them the password and the login information so that they can go see it themselves. The amount of Tom is just really trying to hammer this point home. In a way, it's genius, right? You can't lose, because on one hand, well, you take a loss, but you really don't lose, right? Because on one hand, either they treat him like they treated him right now, and now everybody's really going to see it. They have the proof right in their eyes. There's no denying it. Or they have to accept them, and then they have to prove that he outsold everybody else and put him at the top of the billboards. Either way, they are screwed, and they know it.
So that there's no chance the numbers could be defrauded or tampered with in any way. I just gotta say, that is unprecedented access and transparency. It's actually very dangerous for us to be even giving out that kind of access. But we wanted to be on the Billboard charts. We wanted to play with the big boys. We wanted to prove to the world that independent artists are just as impactful, just as powerful, and just as worthy of industry recognition as the major label artists.
No. Okay. I'm going to disagree with Tom on this one, but hear me out. Not just as, but more. If you are doing the thing that the mainstream artists are doing by yourself independently, you are more, much more. The fact that Tom was able to do what he did without all of that backing, you are much more impactful, much more dedicated, and much more ambitious than all of those other artists who need all of those things. Do mainstream artists work hard? Of course they do. A lot of them do. They go from club to club and do all of those things, go TV shows and be on radio stations. Of course they work hard. But the amount of effort it takes with a small team to do what they are doing is much more impactful. These guys really, really, really did build a movement from the ground up. Talk about grassroots.
So at this point, since we feel like they just called us liars, we start CCing anyone that we work with in any capacity who could possibly help verify these numbers to the data collection company. We ended up having like 4 or 5 people on this email thread. One of them being my friend and the owner of the warehouse who has manufactured my CDs from the very beginning of my career. He sees every single order that comes in. He's actually the guy that sends you guys your t-shirts. He replies in this email thread, and I quote, "I can verify and prove all of the information provided below. Let me know how I can assist." No reply. Our other industry friends start questioning them at this point. They start asking the data collection company, do you guys even have a mechanism or a process to account for a truly independent artist's numbers? Does that even exist? They inform us that they do in fact have the process in place. We
Lying. If they had a process in place, this would literally be a walk in the park. They do not have a process in place. And literally, they calling you a liar. Like he said earlier, they're basically saying it's impossible for you to do what you've done. I don't, what do you even say to that? Are you so unbelievable that they can't even believe themselves? And that's what they do. That's their job. They have not seen anything like this before. We're living in a new age. This is revolutionary, y'all. Like, this is something unprecedented. Like, we don't even know. I don't think Tom even knows how big this is, how impactful this is, what he's doing right now. We may see a future where nobody's signed to a label, where every single person is independent, and you make or break yourself. And he's a pioneer in this because he's showing it and proving it right now that it can be done. Holy cow. How many people are watching this right now and taking that lesson from this?
ask what that process is. They refuse to give us the information, but they tell us that they'd be happy to once their questions about my past sales have been answered. We tell them that we're unsure of what questions they're asking. They ask us to confirm the number of physical albums that were officially accepted by a publishing company. Our friend explains in the email that Nova and I, independently, totally on our own, distribute our physical sales to the people. There is no publishing company accounting for physical sales. They still don't get it.
They don't get it. It does not compute. Like, bro, I can imagine these people standing around their laptops or computers and trying to figure out what the hell is going on. It's like they're about the manager's manager in. It's like, well, he's showing all of these numbers and stuff. It's like, it don't make sense. We never said anything like this. They don't get it. They don't. Crazy.
There is no publishing company accounting for physical sales. They still don't get it. They miserably fail to understand that our business is truly independent. So we once again explain how our business model works. A grassroots operation, totally outside of the music industry. We explain that we've packed over 200,000 albums with our own hands. We send pictures of us over the years, packing albums, labeling albums, and dropping them off at the post office.
Bro. I'm just shocked. I am shocked. Like, I am shocked. That's all I can say. When I was growing up, we had dreams of signing a deal. All we could ever think about was if the right person heard our music or heard us rap, that we would get a deal signed and we would sign to a major label and they were going to take us to our wildest dreams and we were going to somehow be the most successful that we've ever been. And I don't know what it is about Tom's mind, but he said, screw that. Screw waiting on somebody else to save me. Screw waiting on somebody else to give me an endorsement, to tell me that they packed them themselves. The ambition, the mindset. That's why I tell everybody, go out and buy the mixtape. the albums. Go out and download on iTunes, whatever it is you can do. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, because if you don't, I don't know what else to say, because it literally counts on you.
Of us over the years packing albums, labeling albums, and dropping them off at the post office. We tell them that if the numbers seem unbelievable, it's because they are unbelievable. I get it. It is unbelievable that a kid and his girlfriend have managed to do something as large as we're doing it, completely independent of the music industry. I get it. It's unbelievable. But you're a data collection company and we're giving you the proof, so believe it because it's true. We again explain that the information she wants is the information we have and us alone. And we're trying to give it to her. We're trying to give it to her. At this point, I've had absolutely enough. No.
Like, what do you do? Like, literally, what do you do? I've given you every single thing we have. The numbers for the digital copies, for the physical copies, literally gave you access to the website. What else do you want, people? Look, Tom, I don't know how you do it, brother. I don't know how you do it, because I would have lost my freaking mind. Andrew, what's up? Hopefully. Just to let y'all know, when I hit 10K, I'm gonna change the logo and the banner on the YouTube channel. So I've had this YouTube logo and banner for a very long time at this point. And it's time for a change, but I'm gonna do it at 10K subscribers. So I look forward to that. And it's not going to be too far off from what I originally have right now, but it's just a little, little different flavor. I put it like that. Oh my gosh.
Nova has been the person emailing back and forth with them, and I've just been kind of watching from a distance. Now, Nova wants this so bad for us that it's literally all that she's thinking about. She's waiting at her computer all day, just hoping that she's going to get a reply from them. And then when their offices close at 8 p.m., she just goes to bed, totally defeated. I saw a lot of tears that week, a lot of them. And with both of us feeling super frustrated and totally defeated, I would finally step in. When I start personally sending emails, it gets ugly.
Tom finna go off on him. Bro, that's crazy. This shouldn't have taken this long to even.
Here's how that went. I informed the data collection company that I have a massive 6-week campaign for the Brave album, complete with promotional materials, music videos, marketing, blah, 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 blah. A plan that it took me weeks to come up with, I might add. A plan that I annoyed the hell out of Adam with because I was insistent that it had to go exactly the way that I wanted it to go.
Wouldn't it be amazing if I can get both of them on for an interview? Wouldn't that be crazy? Oh, we're going to have a good time. Trust me.
Anyway, I tell them that I'm going to have to reconfigure this entire 6-week plan if I can't get a clear answer from them on if we can record our physical albums or how we do it or what the hell's going on. Sidebar, you got to understand, this whole mess is ultimately why we ended up moving the digital release from February 18th to March 4th. You guys remember when that happened? We had to order a ton more CDs. We had to scramble to create merch packs that we weren't initially going to do because we weren't allowed to bundle merch with albums according to their guidelines. We had to go into overdrive and try and salvage a 6-week campaign. That got screwed up because we were waiting for them to accept our numbers. Anyways, I tell these guys that I need a clear answer so I can move forward.
You know what? Imagine this. Imagine them thinking that an independent artist can never overcome the boundaries they set in place. It's like they took all the best lawyers they had and came up with the most extensive piece of paper they could, or guidelines or qualifications in order for you to enter this nonsense, just to hinder people who are trying to do it on their own. And just for you to go take the extra step to go through all of that. At the end of the day, they decided, still not going to let you in. It's like, you would think that after going through all of that, they should create a billboard just for independent artists by themselves.
No response to that email. I follow up again, and they reply to me, and I quote, "Hi, Tom and all. I've been reviewing the site, the data we have from streaming for past releases, socials, and comparable sales from similar genres during this vetting period. It doesn't support the sales you have quoted earlier in this thread. Did any of these sales happen to be null orders out to fan clubs, other retailers, etc.? I'm still trying to understand the provided data to explain the abnormally high numbers before we can allow you to report.
Once again, calling the man a liar. Why in the hell would this man go through all of this for a lie? The constant back and forth. Nova was sitting there going back and forth with these people. Then he had to get involved and go back and forth with these people for a lie? I don't know about you, but who's going to lie that much just to get put on the billboard? How much money do you get for being at the top of the billboard? Do you get $1 million, $10 million? It must be something so magnificent and so like drool-worthy that people would go through this amount of lengths to try to fool you, even when they know that you're going to find out the truth in the end. Wherever they got their degrees or whatever from, they need to go and get their money back.
Provided data to explain the abnormally high numbers before we can allow you to report. Again, in my eyes, telling us that they don't believe us. So I immediately respond with a nuclear bomb of an email. And it goes like this. You continually ask the same questions. We continually answer them. We have been painfully transparent with you, and still you make absolutely no movement. If you won't sign in to the back end of our store, which we've offered you access to verify the sales yourself, and you won't take the endorsement from anyone else that's involved in our very small and obviously extremely successful business, it seems as though there's nothing else we can do here. Your job is to collect and report data to Billboard, a chart that I would assume takes pride in presenting an accurate portrayal of the sales landscape in regards to the music business.
I want to know, where are these people located at? Like, why isn't there a place that you can go and sit down and talk to these people face to face? Bring the information that you have, everything that they need, and sit down with somebody, a representative that can go through these things piece by piece, and you let them look you in your face and tell you the same nonsense they sending you through your email. Oh my gosh. Like, what's the name of this company? Give me a second. Because this makes no sense. I don't know if y'all remember the name of the company that collects the data. Put it in the comment section. I'll find out.
And for some reason, you are preventing adequate data collection and accurate reporting. If you can't figure out how to verify a truly independent artist's sales.
Oh yeah, I saw Adams. Yeah, we're gonna pull out Adams. Yeah, yeah. I saw Adams too. I'm gonna pull that up.
Go talk to someone who does. If you don't have the mechanism, you should all be embarrassed of yourselves. I've likened this entire situation to waiting outside a treehouse while you block the door. You are preventing us from hanging out with the cool kids for a reason that you can't seem to provide. We're asking you what we can possibly do to get in, and you can't seem to articulate a conclusive answer. You just keep running in circles.
I wish they would just tell the truth. Let's just be honest. Can anybody be honest? Let's be honest for a second, y'all. Let's have a come to Jesus moment, right? The honest thing here is they don't like your music, Tom. They do not like what you rap about. They do not like the fact that you were able to do what you're doing. They do not like your audience. They detest you. They do not believe that you should exist as an artist. Not only do they believe that, they actually think that the music that they promote and constantly uplift is much better than yours because it promotes a level of ignorance that allows them to manipulate and to profit off of ignorant people who listen to it. That's the truth. And that's what they really want to say to you. They really want to tell you that you don't belong in this lane, stay in your place. But they can't. So they have to do all of these runarounds, all of these wraparounds, because they're hoping that you just get tired enough to just give up. That's what they really want to say. We know it. They know it. This is sad that this man has to go through this. Sad. We should go protest that crowd. We should stand outside of their building with picket signs and like explain to us in our faces what you cannot compute.
Please help or put us in contact with someone who can. Your unwillingness to make any progress has gone on long enough and already forced me to adjust an extremely important release campaign multiple times. Every song.
Okay, so Tom doesn't mention the name because the lawyer told him not to. I can understand that. That might be for a reason. They might want to sue or whatever. This is, man. This is. I don't even know what to call this. This is.
I release hits #1 on iTunes. Most of them hit #1 on multiple Billboard charts. My YouTube, where I post my music videos, has 3 million subscribers. I have music videos with 30 million actual views. I've been on Fox News and an endless amount of other acclaimed platforms. What part of this is unbelievable to you?
Exactly. Take it in context. He even took the time to lay out his resume for these people. This is how dedicated and serious he is to proving to these people, like, there is no reason that you should be stopping me right now.
Other acclaimed platforms. What part of this is unbelievable to you? I shouldn't have to explain independent musicianship and the marketing thereof to someone who's apparently responsible for collecting the results of said marketing. Figure it out. It would be great to get a prompt response. Tom. I hit send. Ready for it to get even crazier? I didn't ever hear back from that email. One of my music industry friends who's CC'd on the email senses my frustration, and he decides to weigh in and try and help out. He adds,
I wonder if Tom can sue these people. I'm really curious. The fact that they have all of these standards. It's kind of like if you go to Burger King and you order a Whopper and they give you chicken nuggets or they give you a Big Mac. A company is false advertising. They're selling themselves off to be something that they are not. They say that they collect data that goes to the billboards that informs them on who has the best sales. If they are not accurately doing that, they are not advertising themselves as they are. They are no longer serving the function in which they are supposed to be serving. In a way, they're selling a false product, which, in my opinion, should allow them to be sued. If I found out that they were selling Big Macs, like Amy says, at Burger King, that's false advertisement. They're not living up to the standard as a company that they're representing themselves as. This should be criminal, at least suable.
Just to help if possible, Tom's videos released on YouTube have gathered over 100 million views in 2021 alone. We help collect the publishing income generated from those views, and we can confirm over 100 million views from his videos in 2021 alone. They didn't respond to that email either. I followed up for the next 2 days. No responses. This is almost 50 emails in a 2-week span and absolutely no progress at all. I follow up multiple times. Nothing. I find out who the higher ups are. I email them. Nothing. I follow up. Nothing. Then I find out that me and Nova have been removed from this email thread entirely. My friend tells us that he's received an email from someone within the data collection company. We were told that they were trying to set up a phone call and that we were to have no further communication with the people that we had been dealing with previously. According to this new person, all further communications were to go through him. So my friend and the data company set up a time to get on the phone and talk about it. And they didn't ever answer that call. And we called more than once.
This is criminal. This is criminal. This is criminal. The billboards, you can't trust them. Throw it out. Because how are we supposed to trust the billboards if we don't even know how much information, how much data, how many artists are trying to put information in that is being rejected, overlooked, or right out dismissed? You cannot trust the billboards. It's moot. It no longer means anything. So next time you see any artist at the top of the Billboard charts, you got to question it. You have to ask yourself, there's some significant amount of doubt if that person actually belongs at that top spot, or number 2, or number 3, because you really just don't know. It makes the whole situation, the whole system that they have set in place, null and void.
Like, do you guys see what is happening here? Our physical album sales combined with our digital album sales would have practically guaranteed us a #1 spot on the Billboard album charts independently. Now, look, I know a lot.
Hold on. Is the stream acting up? I see it. Is the stream acting up? Oh, my Wi-Fi must be acting crazy. I apologize, y'all, if y'all can see me. Y'all let me know if it came back. Let me I hope it came back, everybody.